Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the Apostate of Allah. As you can tell by the thumbnail of this video will be about the 70 Christians, the 70 martyrs whose lives were taken by Islamic terrorists. Islam is Islaming again. And I'm gonna read right now this article and we're gonna jump right into it, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's not just me, I'm actually gonna have an imam. Now this clip is a relatively older clip, but mentality is the same, because where did he get this kind of mentality? Where did he get his teaching from? How is he doing this khutbah? It had to have come from somewhere, and it's from the Islamic sources. Okay, so I'm going to read the article, and we're going to have an imam explain why this happened, what the how a Muslim is supposed to feel about Christians. Let's get into it. Open Doors reported 70 Christians found beheaded in church in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Christians in DRC have again been left reeling after a heinous act of violence that has left 70 believers dead. Please pray for our brothers and sisters in the country as they face escalating persecution. 70 Christians have been found beheaded in a church in the Democratic Republic of Congo in what's the latest devastating attack on believers in the northeast of the country. According to field sources, at around 4 a.m. last Thursday, the 13th of February, suspected militants from the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a group with ties to so-called Islamic State, approached homes in Maiba in the territory of Lubero, saying, get out, and don't make any noise." 20 Christian men and women came out and were captured. Shaken by this incident, people from the local community in Maiba later gathered to work out how to release those held captive. However, ADF militants surrounded the village and captured a further 50 believers. All 70 of those kidnapped were taken to a Protestant church in Kasanga, where they were tragically unalived. Mahindo Muzunzi, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, director of the Combo Primary School, which belongs to the CECA 20 church, says that prior to this incident, churches, schools, and health centers had all shut their doors because of the chaotic security situation. We had to move all activities towards Vanying, he said. Field sources report that until yesterday, Tuesday, the 18th of February, some families had not been able to bury their dead because of the insecurity in the area. Many Christians have now fled the area for their safety. We do not know what to do or how to pray. We've had enough of massacres, says another elder of the CECA 20 church. May God's will alone be done. Now, like I promised, another Muslim is going to explain why this occurred.
Oh, look, a different heathen.
Equality to all of its members. Is there such a thing in Islam? Is there equality of faith? If we look to one hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the authority of Abu Huraira, Sahih Muslim, so no Sunni Muslim can really argue against Sahih Muslim or Sahih Bukhari.
Wait, hold up. No Muslim can argue against Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari? But these dudes continuously argues against it with non-Muslims. No, this is da'if. Huh. Must be a form of taqiyya. I don't know.
Rasulullah said, don't greet the Jews and the Christians before they greet you. And when you meet any of them on the roads, force them to go on the narrow side of it. And Imam Malik, he said the same thing as well. In fact, Umar ibn Khattab, who Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that if there was to be another Nabi after me, it would be Umar ibn Khattab in his own charter, not charter of United Nations, in his charter with the people of Sham, with those Christians of Sham, in his charter was Kafir and Muslim, they're not allowed to wear the same clothes as one another. If the Muslim, he comes out on the day of Eid and he sees Kafir with nice clothes, the Kafir has to take his clothes off and give it to the Muslims. The Kafir, when he walks inside the street, he has to wear a red belt around his neck, and he has to have his forehead shaved, and he has to wear two shoes which are different from one another. He's not allowed to walk on the pavement. He has to walk in the middle of the road, and he has to ride on a mule. And that's only for the adult.
Have you ever sat and wondered how like North Africa and like places like Iraq became so Islamicized? What happened? Like North Africa, Egypt, for example, they were Christian nations. What happened? Just look through the history. For example, how Islam was overtaken, let's say in Morocco. What happened? How come there's no Jewish people there? I mean, like, we know Syria has a very rich Jewish history. What happened to them? What happened to them? For example, in Morocco, they were forced to wear and do exactly what this person is talking about. The Christians and the Jews. There is hadiths and how Muslims are not allowed to have their hair cut in certain ways. How they would change it because they needed to be different. They had to make themselves superior. This is why these countries speak Arabic, by the way. In Egypt, you had to have, if you didn't speak Arabic, if they caught you speaking your native tongue, you had it chopped off. Islam is a very Arab supremacist religion. And that's how they spread Islam. Let's continue. Let's see what else this dude has to say.
Not for the children. And you can see how Islam would make the child become a Muslim. The kafir, or the child growing up in a state of kufr, he will turn to Islam. Why? Because the child will be walking along with his dad. He said, "Dad, yeah, why you got your forehead shaved?" "I don't know whether these Muslims, they make me do it." Why you got to walk? Why can't you ride the animal? Like the Muslims, they ride the animal like this. Why are you walking with both legs dangling on the side of the donkey? Why is it every time the Muslim comes to you, he asks you for your clothes, you give it? Why is it every time he tells you to get down from the horse, you have to take it? And not only that.
Humiliation is a form of da'wah. For those who don't know what da'wah is the equivalent to Christian evangelism. Christian evangelism, we go and we find people, we share the love of God, how Jesus died for sins, listen, you don't have to try and make yourself good and force yourself to do good things to make yourself right with God. God takes you as you are, but he doesn't leave you as you are, he changes you. Islam, there's lies. There's a whole bunch of different kind of manipulation tactics. And another manipulation tactic that Islam uses for da'wah to bring people into Islam is humiliation. And this is what he's describing. And if you listen to the end of this video, that's exactly what he's describing. Here's a son is watching his father being humiliated, being forced to take off his clothes, being forced to do all different types of stuff. And this little boy is watching and he's like, I don't want to be like this. Where they force the child to become a Muslim in that way because they don't want to be mistreated. This is nothing new. And this is literally, if you look at Islamic history, what has happened is humiliation. This is Islam for you. Because if you don't stand on truth, but yet you still have a goal to take over the world, what else are you going to do? This is what you will do. You'll find other kinds of deceptive, evil ways to make you higher. And what do you expect? They believe in a book that calls Jews and Christians and everybody else that's not a Muslim the worst of creatures. And they call Muslims the best of creatures. What kind of... I did a video on this early on when I first started this video YouTube channel. How do you think that will affect the mentality of people? This will screw with your head. Let's see what else he has to say.
He said the kuffar, they can have their churches. They can have their churches, but they're not allowed to ring the bell. And if a Muslim, he's walking by, let's say, for example, a Muslim's been on Edgware Road, for example. He's had some nice shisha, some nice steak, no hubble bubble, we don't deal with anything like that. And he's walking along and he's rubbing his belly and he's like, oh man, I don't want to upset my wife tonight. What he can do, he can go to the church, knock on the door, John, let me in. Okay, no problem. John has to put up Abdul Ghafoor for the night. Abdul Ghafoor with his big belly, having his nice kebab. John has to open up the church and he has to go there and sleep there nice and comfortable and say, all right, John, thank you, and then carry on going early in the morning.
Not only that, the minarets of churches of a church cannot be higher than that of a mosque. And again, this is a whole superiority thing. They need to show that they are the uppermost. They are the ones that are in control. And you are nothing, you are lower than dirt. This may sound mean, like taking a guess, but people that, if you're just learning something about Islam and their mentality, you'd be like, wait, that's too much, but I'm sorry. This is the way that it is. This is the reality of it all. It's hard. You may know Muslims, but this is what it is. This is the teaching. This is the law. Okay? Not only that, let's say a church has something that's broken and it needs fixing. There's a leaky roof. You're forbidden for fixing that. So not only is your church, mosques need to be bigger than the churches. They let it slowly but surely disintegrate till that church is no longer, because you're not allowed to fix anything that's broken. And on top of all that, you're not allowed to build new churches. I'm just expounding what this dog is saying.
Which wife is going to live with John under that type of circumstances? What kind of honoring is this for me to live with John and Abdul Ghafoor comes every Friday night and sleeps in our bed as well? Of course. Because sunnah is to look after the guest, innit? I can't make you sleep on my floor if you can't. You're Muslim, by the way. So what about when Abdul Ghafoor goes to John's house? John, sleep on the floor and I'll sleep on the bed. What's going to happen? Tracy's going to be on the floor thinking, my husband, he's got a forehead shaved, and this one, look at this one, khatab, mashallah. Which one's more attractive? We're not gay, but I'm just saying. A man with his forehead shaved and one belt around his neck and two different colored shoes, or Amir Khattab. Amir Khattab, we're talking about here now, with that nice Chechen hat, big beard, a bit to the side, yeah? And he's got the badges there, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, yeah? And he's got a big gun, and he's got a big camouflage jacket on, nice boots, gloves as well. Even if he's got a couple of fingers missing, still looks attractive. Yeah? What's Tracy going to do? John's in for a problem. He just let him in for a kebab, he lost his own wife as well. So everyone's going to become Muslim. That is, my dear brothers, the Islamic State.
On the humiliation, the wife is going to want to leave her husband. And that's the thing. Okay, again, he said it, this is a form, this is how you bring people into Islam. This is a form of da'wah. This is a form of their kind of evangelism. How they bring them in through deception, through manipulation, through humiliation. But here's the thing. I do remember Jesus saying, the gates of hell shall not prevail. Muslims, there's something going on in here. You guys just don't get it. Do you guys not sit down and realize how did Christianity manage to expand so quickly? And with all the persecution that you're responsible for, it's still standing? Do you ever sit and think? Do you really think that those people, those 70 martyrs, the actual martyrs, because Islam has their own form of what martyrdom is, and it's not martyrdom, it's evil, that's going to shake the faith of a believer and have them turn their backs and come to what Islam? To believe in a prophet that you call a mercy to mankind, who encourages you to do this evil stuff? No. The gates of hell shall not prevail. and you could do whatever the heck you want to do. These terrorists can do whatever they want to do, and that won't change anything. Period. End of story. There's a reason why. Because while Muslims are doing their manipulation, humiliation dawah, and their lies and their taqiyya lies, same thing, to draw people to Christianity. We actually have the true and living God drawing people to himself and sealing them with the Holy Spirit, and he won't lose not one. And it doesn't matter how many heads you have rolling. That's the power of the gospel. You don't think these people knew that there's... The Congo is a Christian nation. The Congo is 95% Christian. It's not an Islamic state. Yet their biggest persecutors are Muslim. With that being said, they know this. Yet they're still Christian. There are many Muslims leaving Islam, knowing the consequences, but yet we still leave. Why? That's the power of the gospel. You're trying to frighten people that you can't make frightened. Like you can't scare, because we have a God who's got our backs. That's the reality of it all. Here's the thing. Islam is made up of a group of people with very thin skin. And that is why they need to resort to the things that they resort to. Islam is a religion for those who can't take criticism, and they have an excuse to do inhumane things to people when they do feel criticized. Islam is a religion for narcissists who want to always feel higher up and complimented all the time, made feel better than everybody else. And here's the thing. I'm about to do something. Now, this is for the Muslim that's listening who isn't the Muslim who is not violent. Who is a Muslim that's like, okay, I'm a Muslim, I was raised Muslim. I was always told Islam was a religion of peace. That we shouldn't be doing with it. They would condemn what happened. Who feel uneasy when they read certain parts of the Quran. Who feel uneasy when they hear the imam of their local mosque say certain things about Muhammad. This is for you. That's mean. What are you doing? Why are you hurting our feelings? You just finished saying we're not mean people. If you're more disturbed about a piece of paper that I own, this is mine. Mine. Okay? Oops, this one fell out. If you feel more disturbed about this than you do about the 70 Christians that had their lives taken away, how that same group of people constantly go and attack churches. If you're more disturbed over this than them, you need to check yourself. If you're not, and you have a semblance of common sense in your head and some semblance of humanity in your heart, and you realize, yeah, they are weak. Why are they getting mad over a piece of paper that's been printed? Why are they getting mad over them? Like, aren't they always talking about how they have this memorized? This is a piece of paper. Human life is worth more. I ask you, to get away from Islam, because that is exactly the opposite of what Islam encourages. Islam encourages you to attack, to belittle, to unalive those who do what I just did. And it encourages you to do what was done in the Congo. You don't believe me? The month of fasting, the month of feasting, Ramadan, is quickly coming. Next week probably. Pay attention of what happens in that holy month. How many jihadi attacks happen in that holy month? Now, in Islam and during the month of Ramadan, anything is like you want to get a lot of good deeds done during Ramadan, right? Pay attention and see what happens. Run from Islam. Come to Jesus, the giver of life, the one who will never leave you nor forsake you, the one that somehow, by his power, that while you're being attacked for your faith in him, there is something by the Spirit of God inside of you that keeps you held firm in the faith. Come to that God and leave the religion of lies, destruction, and it's just straight evil. Peace and grace.
If you want something to happen, you just need to pray and not be a Muslim.